You know, this recent report found nearly 2 million middle school and high school students have tried electronic cigarettes, or e-cigarettes. That set off some alarm bells, and this week 40 state attorneys general called on the U.S. Food and Drug Administration to regulate e-cigs just like it regulates tobacco. Up until they were banned in 1970, old-time cigarette television ads used to talk about taste and relaxation.
Winston tastes good, like cigarette should.
New ads for e-cigarettes emphasize feeling clean and no cigarette smell.
I can whip out my blue and know that I won't scare any guys away.
Users inhale, but there's no smoke. Taking a puff triggers a heating coil, which warms up liquid nicotine in a plastic filter, and that results in nicotine-filled vapor like steam. It doesn't contain the same tar and chemicals as cigarette smoke, but as the FDA has said, it may contain other cancer-causing agents. And at least 4 users have gotten a nasty surprise. Their electronic cigarettes exploded while being charged.
It sounded like a bomb. It shook the house up.
You look at the preponderance and the percentages, and with the electronic cigarette, I don't think the numbers begat the worry at all.
And joining me from CDC headquarters right here in Atlanta is CDC Director Dr. Tom Frieden. Thanks for joining us, Doctor. There's a lot of interest in this topic. A few years ago, the FDA, as you know, actually banned these e-cigarettes. But in 2010, a court then overturned so that there's no evidence that they're actually harmful. Well, I mean, what do you think? Is it a question of they're bad for you, or we just still don't know?
I think what we can say basically is they might or might not be able to help you quit, but there are definite harms that they can cause. And those definite harms are in different environments. So if they get kids hooked on nicotine, that's a really bad thing. If they get a smoker who would have quit smoking to continue smoking, that's a bad thing. If they get a smoker who stops smoking to go back to nicotine addiction and then smoking, that's a bad thing. And if they re-glamorize the act of smoking, that's a bad thing. So we have possible benefits and definite harms.
Let me ask about the other people who are around people who may be smoking e-cigarettes. You know, there's the idea of secondhand smoke. I mean, we know about that with cigarettes, but some researchers say the amount of potential carcinogens in the vapor potentially is extremely minute, that it's insignificant, in fact. I mean, do you disagree with that?
Well, we don't know what's in more than 200 different e-cigarette products out there. What we do know is that there's nicotine. And there's the theoretical possibility that if you're around someone who's using an e-cigarette, you're going to absorb or inhale some of the nicotine that goes out from that product. That's probably something that can be engineered out of the product. But right now, I don't know which products would cause that and which wouldn't.
And it gets back to this idea that there's still a lot that we don't know about this overall. Also the idea that it's being marketed to kids, or young people at least. You've called this deeply troubling in the past. I mean, why?
Well, if you start with e-cigarettes, there's a real likelihood that you will become nicotine addicted. And we found in CDC studies that 20% of middle school kids who used e-cigarettes only used e-cigarettes. And what that suggests to me, though it's not proof, but what it suggests to me is that some kids are starting with e-cigarettes, they're getting hooked on nicotine, and then they're going on to regular cigarettes. And that's a real problem, because those kids may well be getting condemned to a lifetime of nicotine addiction.
Yeah, and again, the e-cigarette companies will say, look, we're not targeting kids because you have to be over 18. But again, the reason we bring it up is because some of these marketing campaigns specifically. While I've got you here, before I let you go, the fiscal cliff looms Monday night into Tuesday, as I'm sure you well know. I'm curious, for an organization like the CDC, can you give us some idea of the tangible impact that could have if the government shuts down?
Well, we really hope there won't be a government shutdown, and from what I understand, there's still time to avoid it. But really, sequester, shutdown, even the talk of shutdown is very disruptive to work at CDC and throughout the government. We want to get about our business of protecting Americans from threats. And what this does is put in a great deal of uncertainty, and we're still working out what a shutdown would mean. We have to go through every single staff person in the agency and say, would they continue to work or not? There's a great deal of legal complexity about how it happens. And this kind of thing is really distracting. It distracts us from our mission, which is protecting people from threats.
Dr. Tom Frieden, I always enjoy speaking to you. Thanks so much. Hope you come back again soon.
Thank you, Sanjay.